Good morning, children. So, in the last class, we had discussed about chapter number 2, that was about sexual reproduction in flowering plants, in which we had studied about how the structure of ovule, the megasporogenesis, the formation of female gametophyte, and then we had studied about the pollination, different kinds of pollination, outbreeding devices, and then post-pollination stages, that is we have studied about the fertilization, that was double fertilization, then triple fusion, and then post-fertilization stages in which we had discussed about development of embryo, development of endosperm, development of seed, and development of fruit. And along with that, we also discussed about some asexual methods of reproduction, and we had discussed about the polyembryony conditions and apomixis, and also parthenocarpy. Now let's focus our attention to the next chapter, that is chapter number 5, where we are going to study about different principles of inheritance and variation. I hope all of you remember that. You have already studied a little bit about that in standard 10. So this principle of inheritance and variation was also done as early as by Gregor Mendel, and he had performed various experiments on, which plant? On pea plant. And you know that the main principle which we are going to discuss over here is nothing but based on the mode of sexual reproduction. That is, living beings, they mainly produce by sexual reproduction. And due to sexual reproduction, there is lot of variations and inheritance. That is, the offspring get lot of characterized, there will be a lot of transfer of traits from parents to the offspring, by which the offspring resemble the parents, and it is seen both in the case of the plants as well as in animals. So the inheritance is nothing but the process by which certain traits or characteristics are passed on from parents to the offspring. But at the same time, what is variation? Variation is nothing but the degree to which the offspring differ from their parents in certain characteristics or traits which they get from their parents. For example, that is the color of the hair or the nature of the hair which the offspring gets from the parent. It might be straight hair or curly hair. Color of the eyes, it can be blue or it can be grey or it can be black. And then at the same time, the earlobe, it can be free or attached. The color of the skin, there are different traits, that is, which the offspring get from their parents, but at the same time there will be a lot of variations. So let's discuss that about that in detail. Now the branch of biology which deals with the inheritance of characters from the parents, that is to the offspring, is nothing, and then also the variations of certain characteristics which the offspring get from their parents, the degree to which the characteristics varies. So these two things, it is studied in a branch of biology known as genetics. So genetics is nothing but it's a branch of biology which deals with both inheritance and variation. And the main study was done by the great scientist, that is Gregor Mendel, and then he carried out different experiments regarding this in mid-70s. So he conducted the various experiments for nearly 7 years, and the main experimental material for him was garden pea. Garden pea, the scientific name for that is Pisum sativum. And then he carried out a lot of experiments on that, and the main material which he had taken for the experiment is nothing but true breeding line of pea plant. The meaning of true breeding line of pea plant is nothing but the pea plants which have undergone lot of generation has undergone self-pollination, thereby it has got a stable inheritance and expression. That is same kind of flowers and with the stem height, all that it has got from the generation to generation, it has been passed on. So there is a stable inheritance which the offspring has got from the parents. So that's how he has got the true breeding pea line, and that was achieved by Gregor Mendel. That is, he had carried out the simple technique. That is, he had used a pea plant. The pea flower, you can see that it is closed. Okay, the pea plant flower is the closed plant. What is it called? It is cleistogamous flower. That means it doesn't have the exposed stamens and stigma. So what happened? So these flowers, it will undergo self-pollination. So this plants was taken for his experimental study because it was very easy to grow and maintain it. And then also the flower mainly it undergoes self-pollination, but also at the same time Gregor Mendel he had carried out the technique of cross-pollination. And you remember about the cross-pollination we had studied in the last chapter. That is, in cross-pollination what was done, that is the anthers of one of the flower was removed by using a forceps or a scissor, and then the stigma of the flower was pollinated by the pollen grains from different plant. So what is it known as? It's known as cross pollination. So pea plant was selected for the experiment just because there can be self pollination as well as he could carry out cross pollination on those plants. So let's study what are the different characteristic traits he had chosen and about little bit more about the pea plant and how he had carried out his experiments. So let's study the Mendel's experimental material. He had taken Pisum sativum, and for his case study he had taken the true breeding pea line. That means the pea plant which had undergone for several generations it had undergone self-pollination and it had produced stable, that is characteristics, and also the expression, that is different flowers which was produced by the plants or the size of the plant and all, it was stable for several generations. So that kind of plants he had selected. And for selecting that kind of plant, what Mendel had done it, he had grown the pea plant for many generations, and then the seed produced from those pea plants was sown, and then that was again taken and again sown, and then after the seeds germinated, he started eliminating the seeds which had produced the dwarf plant. So he had taken all the tall plants like that. So he started eliminating the characteristics which was not needed for his experiment. That's how he had carried out the various experiment. And in Mendel's main thing, experimental procedure, you can see that he had taken both the mathematical logic and statistical analysis of his data. And he had grown large number of plants, so he had a large data collection. So because of these factors, he was able to formulate certain laws. We have already studied about those laws, that is law of dominance and law of segregation. So furthermore, we will be studying in detail in this chapter. So the Mendel's experimental material was nothing but the pea plant. The scientific name of that is Pisum sativum. The number of chromosomes in pea plants is nothing but 14. Now, why he had selected the pea plant for that? Mainly, this plant was bisexual in nature and it had cleistogamous flowers. Means it is not in the flower in which the stigma and the stamen and all is not well exposed. So what happened when the flowers are closed? It undergoes self-pollination. So that was the main basis. One was the plant, it bore bisexual flowers and cleistogamous flowers. Second one, the plant was an annual plant which completed the life cycle in 1 year. Short life cycle. That means once the seed started growing and then germinating and all, so within 1 year it was able to complete the life cycle, that is between vegetative phase and then the reproductive phase. Started producing flowers, and immediately after that, within short duration, it also bore fruits. So because of that reason only, he had selected this pea plant because it was an annual plant and which had a very short life cycle. The third factor is nothing but the growing of pea plant, it was very easy and it could be handled very easily, and maintenance was also very easy for this. Of this plant also variety was very easy. That's why this was one of the factor which he had taken into consideration for selecting the pea plant. Next one is it produced large number of seeds. Large number of seeds was produced by pea plant, so that he could take those seeds again and again, and he could use that for growing different generations of pea plant, like F1 generation or F2 or F3 and all, and like that he was able to select the correct variety of the pea plant and was able to produce the various, he was able to study the different traits which was passed on from the parents to the offspring, and then formulate different laws based on that. And the fifth property was there, the pea plant had large number of contrasting characteristics or contrasting traits. So contrasting traits means such as there was large, the pea plant, mainly 7 basic characteristic which he had taken was nothing but the size of the stem, that is stem height, the position of the flower, the color of the seed, the shape of the seed, then the size of the, that is the shape of the pod, that is which was developed, and color of the pod. So there was 7 different contrasting traits or characteristic which was present in the pea plant, for which he was able to do lot of study and experiments based on that, by carrying out the monohybrid cross or dihybrid cross, studying one gene inheritance and then studying about the 2 genes inheritance. Thereby he was able to formulate different laws. So these are the main reason why he had selected pea plant for his study, that is Pisum sativa. Now let's study what are the different characteristics that is he had taken for studying the 7 contrasting characters which was selected by Mendel to study the inheritance of gene from one generation to other. So he had taken the 7 pairs of contrasting characters. Characteristics or traits. So these were the traits which were selected by Mendel for carrying out his experiment. First one was nothing but stem height. Second one, flower color. Third one, flower position. Fourth one, that is pod, that is the seed which is present in the pod. They are leguminous plant, so pod shape. Fifth one was pod color of the pod. Then comes seed shape, and finally the 7th characteristic was seed color. So these were the 7 pairs of contrasting characters which he had studied in the case of pea plant. So first one was stem height. Then for flower there were 2 contrasting characters he had selected, that was flower color and flower position. For pod again 2, that is pod shape and pod color, and seed again 2 contrasting, that is the characters he has studied, that is the properties was based on seed shape and seed color. Now in this, when he was studying this, he had classified the characteristic which was expressed in the pea plant. Some characteristic was expressed when it was grown, that is it was found in the offspring from the parent, it was transferred to the offspring, whereas certain characteristic was not expressed in the offspring. So characteristic which was expressed in the offspring, that is from the parents it was transferred and then the offspring got those characteristics, that was considered as dominant factors, and the characteristic which was not expressed, which remained hidden, they were known as recessive characteristics. So stem height, the dominant characteristic which was expressed is nothing but tall. The contrasting characteristic was nothing but dwarf. Flower color, the flower color which was expressed, which was dominant, suppose it was violet color and white color. The violet color was more dominant. That characteristic was expressed by the pea plant. So the dominant factor on that color of the flower was violet, and the recessive factor was white color flowers. And then flower position. Flower position is nothing but the flower can produce or at the tip of the stem or at the side. That is axial position or the terminal position. So axial and terminal. Okay. Next comes the pod shape. That is a fruit. What is it? So the pod shape also, it was full. That is, it was not wrinkled. So the full shape of the pod, which was well nicely expressed, that containing the seed. So the dominant factor was full. The shape of the pod should be full, and the other recessive factor which was written was nothing but constricted. Constricted trait was considered to be the hidden factor or the recessive, and the full size of the pod was considered as the dominant factor which was expressed in the plant, in the pod. Next one, pod color. Pod color could be either two pairs of contrasting character. So one was green and other was yellow. So out of that, the green color was the was dominant over the yellow color. So the dominant factor of that seed color was green, and the recessive factor was nothing but yellow. Next comes to the seed shape. Seed shape, the pairs of two contrasting characters which he has studied was round shape or wrinkled. So round was found to be dominant. Round factor characteristic was found to be dominant over the wrinkled one. That is wrinkled seed, and this was the round one. And then seed color. Here you have to be very careful. Pod color, the dominant factor was the which was expressed by the plant many times. Green color was dominant only over the yellow color. But in seed color, it was opposite. The yellow color was dominant over the green. So this you have to be very careful when you are writing it. So these were the 7 pairs of contrasting character which was considered by Mendel during his experiment on the pea plant. So each gene that is the factors there were some factors which was transferred from parents to the offspring. So it continued from generation to generation. So the factors which was transferred from parents to the offspring, it is nothing but it is known as the genes, which earlier it was known as the factors. Now we know that the factors which are transmitted from parents to offsprings are nothing but genes. Genes are the basic units of inheritance. Okay. And genes, what happened? It is that is the genes will be for the height, for the color, for the flower position, or pod shape, or pod color. But each genes has a code. So a gene that codes for a pair of contrasting character. Height is a gene, but it has 2 pairs of contrasting character. So the pair of contrasting character, a gene that codes for pair of contrasting characters are known as allele or allelomorph. So these are the 7 pairs of alleles which was taken into consideration by Mendel for his further studies. So now let us study, that is what was his observation and then inference based on this, and then what were the different characteristics he had collected, and he had formulated that. He has recorded the inferences based on the experiment. Children, let's see about Mendel's experiment when he carried out inheritance of one gene. That means out of the 7 characteristics, he concentrated only on one particular characteristic or trait. That is how it is transferred from one generation to the next generation. So that kind of a cross where only one characteristic trait is considered, and for all the other traits could be similar in both the plants. So that kind of hybrid cross is known as monohybrid cross. When 2 genes are considered, that is inheritance of 2 genes are considered, taken into consideration for the experiment, then it is known as dihybrid cross. So first let's study about the monohybrid cross. So in carrying out the monohybrid cross, Mendel had taken the 14 true breeding pea plant varieties as pairs. So I told you what is true breeding varieties, that is the plants which underwent self-pollination for several generations and had produced stable characteristic or inheritance or expression from one generation to the other generation. So first what he had taken is, so one of the, you know that there are 7 contrasting characters related to the stem height, flower color, flower position, pod shape, pod color, seed shape and all. So out of that, one of the characteristic he had selected for carrying out this experiment. So the trait which he had first chosen was the tall and dwarf. Tall plant, and that was crossed with the plant that is which is of dwarf in nature. For this characteristic, what he did, he has selected the plants and then under the cross breeding technique by carrying out emasculation and all, he had removed the anthers of one of the flower and then he had dusted the pollen grain of different flower onto that stigma of another flower and carried out the cross pollination. So in the first cross pollination, what he did, he took all the tall plants and he had crossed it with the dwarf plants, and then after that the seed produced from this one, that is the tall and the dwarf plants were taken and it was grown, and that was that seeds which was produced by the tall plants, that is after the cross of this, the seed produced were sown, and that was sown and it was found that they produced the plants. That is, in the first generation when the seeds were sown, it was seen that the plants produced in that generation were all tall. That is, in this generation is known as the F1 generation or filial 1 generation progeny. In filial 1 progeny or F1 generation, all the plants were found to be tall. None expressed the characteristics of the plant which was dwarf. So all the characteristic trait of one of the parent was expressed in first generation. That was, all the plants was tall in nature. Then what he did, he took both the plants over here, that is both tall plants, and after doing the selfing between this tall plant and tall plant, he crossed it and then took the seeds, again you sown it and germinated it, and then the progeny germinated from this first generation was studied. So the next one, he saw that out of so many plants grew, he saw that some plants were tall and some were dwarf. So the second set of progeny which was produced from the first set, that is first generation, we call them as F2 generation of filial 2 progeny. So filial 2 progeny, it was seen that is around 3/4 of the plants were tall. 3/4 were tall, and out of that only 1/4 of the plants were found to be dwarf in nature. So this was the ratio he got it. He saw that means the trait which was hidden, which was not expressed in F1 generation, was expressed in F2 generation. So he came into conclusion that out of the two traits, one of the trait was dominant over the other, and the trait which was not expressed in the first generation was known to be recessive in nature. So that two terminology was given by him, that is, the trait which was expressed in the first generation was nothing but the dominant factor, and the trait which was hidden, which was not expressed in the first generation, was known to be as dwarf. So it was found that the 3/4 of the plants which grew, that is the pea plant which grew, was tall, all tall in nature, and out of that 1/4 was only dwarf. So this was a recessive factor, and this experiment he carried out with all the remaining contrasting characters with respect to flower shape, flower position, flower color, seed shape, seed color, pod shape and pod color. But he got the same result. That means the dominant factor, one of the factor, that is from one of the parent, okay, that was found in it was expressed in the F1 generation, and one of the character of the parent, only one character of the parent was expressed in the F1, but the second was not expressed, it was hidden. Second parent's character was hidden, but that character was exhibited in the F2 generation. So he then gave certain terminology, and the factors, that is the tall plant and the dwarf plant, that means the external expression of the plant, the visible characteristics of the plant was nothing but it was known as phenotype. Okay, so tall and dwarf was nothing but phenotypes, and there are some factors which is transferred from parents to the offspring, that is F1 generation, F2 generation, F3, F4, like that so many generations he has studied, and he was able to conclude this, that is certain characters which was not expressed in F1 was expressed in the later generation. So for that what he did, there was certain criteria which was given by him. So what he did was, that is he used the alphabet to find out which factors are passed on to the offspring. So for all tall plant he used the letters. So that is, if it is all tall, he used a letter as capital T, and for dwarf plants the letter used was small t. Alright, and then after that it was crossed, he was seeing that he observed that is in the F1 generation it was all tall plant, and in F2 all it was 1/4 was only dwarf and rest was all tall plant. And then he also, this one was taken, and then after the crossing of this, he found that in the F1 generation, after the hybrid cross, the tall plants was found to be having T and T, that is capital T and small t. So this what we are writing here, that is the factors which are being transmitted, they are nothing but it is known as genotype. Genotype. Alright, so here it is the genotype, one is capital and one is small because of the crossing of the two different contrasting characters. So if it is capital T and small t, that kind of genotype it is known as heterozygous. And if it is if the plant is having the same characteristic, it was known as homozygous. So here also this was the tall t and small t. So after the crossing over of this, so one of the tall, it was crossed with this to get one, and then another one got it has the capital and the small. We had seen about the Mendel's experiment, and then what were the observations made by Mendel. Now let's see, that is what were his major influences based on the monohybrid cross or inheritance of one gene. So the first main influence Mendel's was about the gene, that is it was seen that certain characters are passed on from the parents to the offspring. So these factors which are inherited by the offspring from their parents is nothing but it is known as gene. Then each gene has a pair, it is a pair of contrasting characters, or a gene that codes for a pair of contrasting characters, they are known as alleles, or we call them as allelomorphs. That was the second observation, that is inference which was made by Mendel. That is, each gene had a pair of contrasting characters like we had studied about in the pea plant, that is tall and dwarf, or yellow and green pod, or the position of the flowers, that is axial position or terminal position, etc. Then this also we had seen that during the that is inheritance of the genes or alleles from the genes from the parents, the certain factors or traits were found to be dominant over the certain trait. Like the tall trait was dominant over the dwarf, and in the F1 generation, what was observed during that hybrid cross, that was in F1 generation it was seen that one of the characteristic from one of the parent was more dominant. The other factor was not exhibited, not expressed, or it was recessive. So the factor which got exhibited or expressed in the F1 generation was known as the dominant factor, while the factor which remained hidden, which was not expressed in the F1 generation but it was expressed only in the second generation, that is F2 generation, that factor is known as recessive factor. So this is another inference which was carried out by Mendel. The next inference which based on the Mendel's experiment on monohybrid cross, it was seen that the homozygous and heterozygous condition. Homozygous condition, that is, I told you we use the capital letters for writing the dominant factor and the small letters for using, that is a capital letter capital T and the small t for using the recessive factor. Or if it is a round and wrinkle seal, so round it will be for the capital letter, and then the contrasting character will be the small r. Wrinkle and or if it is any other position, one character will be in the capital letter and another contrasting character is always written in the second, that is in the small letter. And one more factor, always capital letter should be written first and then the followed by the small letter. In homozygous condition, what happened, that is the dominant factor was, that is if the alleles of a particular character was same, then it was known as it is capital T and capital T, so that was known as homozygous. But if the pair of contrasting characters was different, that means if the pair of contrasting character was that is capital T and small t, then that was known as heterozygous. So the hybrid variety which had the common allele, it is considered as homozygous capital T or capital T, or it can be taken as small t and small t, that is for the dwarf plant, capital T and capital T for the tall plants. And for heterozygous condition, it was considered as capital T and small t. But here you could see that in the experiment it was seen that whenever the capital T was present in the genotype, the plant was always tall, either in the homozygous or heterozygous condition. That means only one factor of the dominant factor was enough for the plant to express that character, the other character remained hidden, it was recessive. And for the recessive, for the dwarf plant, never it will be expressed when the homozygous condition of capital T and capital T was obtained, or capital T and small t, because this was a dominant factor. And dwarf condition, dwarf plant was always, it was expressed when both was homozygous and that too small t and small t. So that is very, very important. So when we write the pedigree, that is the Punnett square diagram, that will be considered into the factor, and then we will be studying how to write this homozygous and heterozygous conditions of the trait. Next is genotype and phenotype. Genotype is nothing but this, that is capital T or capital T and T, small t and t, that is for the dwarf condition. Then heterozygous condition, capital T and small t. So all these are nothing but it is the genotype, that is what is the genetic makeup of the progeny is known as the genotype. And genotype can be the, that is what we are writing it by using the capital letters or small letter. Whereas the phenotype is nothing but the external expression, like the height, the color of the seed, which are visible characters which are expressed by the gene, is nothing but it is known as phenotype. Whereas the genotype is nothing but the genetic makeup, what is present inside the trait, what has been transferred from parent to the offspring is known as genotype. Then another factor which was observed by the Mendel's experiment, that is the inference was there is always segregation of gametes during the formation of gamete from the parents. That means, that is if the parent had the genes for the contrasting character, during the time of meiosis, that is during gametes are formed as a result of reduction division, that is meiosis. So during meiosis what happened, the pair of contrasting characters will segregate and separate. Okay, so there will be segregation of gametes during the meiosis or the reduction division, and then in the finally what happened, so if it is a homozygous condition, the parent, that is capital T and capital T, the gamete will be getting, you can see this from this factor, that is if it is the male parent, capital T and capital T. So during the meiosis what happened, there will be segregation of this character. So it will be one gamete will be having one of the capital T and another gamete will be having one of the allele for the tallness. So these are the, that is it happens during the gamete formation, that is due to meiotic division. And suppose it is heterozygous condition. In heterozygous condition what happened here, 100% both the characters will be transferred to both the gametes. But in the case of if it is, this is homozygous condition, when the pair of alleles are same. In heterozygous condition, you can see that during the meiotic division, there will be segregation of this contrasting pair of character, and one gamete will be getting capital T and another gamete it will be passed on to the second as a small T. This is for the tallness and this one characteristic for the dwarfness. So here there will be 50% chance. 50% tallness and 50%, that is the chance for gamete segregation. So this is nothing but, this was known to be as law of segregation, one of the second law of Mendel's law based on the observation on monohybrid cross, and the first one we saw that it was law of dominance. That is, if there are two pairs of contrasting character, always the dominant factor is being expressed, the other contrasting character which is not expressed in the F1 generation, which remains hidden, is nothing but recessive factor. So law of dominance, that is the first law of Mendel, and the law of segregation was formulated based on this observation. Now let's study what are the different more, that is about the Punnett diagram, how to draw the gamete formation, how to show the, that is in the form of a square, how to draw find out the ratio of phenotype, ratio of the genotype in the pea plant, that we can study very easily by using a square known as Punnett square.